There are a lot of reasons why businesses fail, but if you avoid the common mistakes that most businesses make, you can set yourself up to have a better success rate than most. In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 of those reasons why I think most businesses fail, so that way you're better set up to succeed in your own business. Hey, welcome to the Freeze Dry Business Channel. My name is David, and I'm an owner of a freeze drying business in the state of Idaho. I've been running my business for the past 4 years, and there's a lot of different nuances to this industry, and it's ever growing. There's a lot of opportunity, and so all these videos that I'm producing come from the standpoint of an owner, of someone who has a freeze drying business, and my hope is that I'm providing you information and resources that are valuable for you to start or expand your freeze drying business so that you're successful every single day. Now in today's video, I'm going to do a little bit of an unedited video where I'm going to go through the 6 reasons why I think most businesses fail based on some of the things that I've experienced and also things that I've researched on other businesses as well. Now this is a unedited challenge on the YouTube space, so a lot of YouTubers are trying to just encourage other YouTubers to do unedited versions, so we just be able to kind of roll with the flow. So bear with me with some of the ums and ahs. I'm trying to limit the amount of editing that I'm going to do. Now the reasons why I chose to do this particular video is because, one, I wanted to stay consistent, and it's really hard as a YouTuber to come out with a video every single week, especially when you have a full-time job and a freeze drying business. So I wanted to make sure I come out with a video every single weekend on either Saturday or Sunday. And so one of the things that I had written up previously was a list of some of the reasons why most businesses fail. And I've been fortunate enough in my business for the past 4 years to have a successful business, but I quickly found out some things that I probably could have done differently, and also things that I've avoided based on talking to other businesses, not even in the freeze drying space. So I'm going to go through those today. So let's get started with number 1. And that is to start a freeze drying business for the wrong reasons. Now, one of the main reasons that I wrote down is trying to get rich quick. Last year in 2023, there was an enormous push and enormous attraction to the freeze drying space. If you hadn't checked out Instagram and TikTok and all these social media pages about freeze drying candy and the TikTok shops and things like that, it was a very exciting time. Now, most of us are starting a business to actually earn money or to replace our full-time job. But some people start a business because they think that it's super easy and they just want to have a quick buck. Some people are really savvy, some people are not. And so if you're in it to get rich quick, if you're not a first mover, if you're not somebody entering the market right away, it's just not going to be that way. So getting into the business for the wrong reasons to get rich quick is not a smart idea, and will quickly depreciate your motivation to continue in your business. Now, another one is everyone is doing it, so it must be easy. Well, that's not necessarily true, because it is pretty hard to run a freeze drying business, especially on the candy side, because if you watch enough of my videos or you watch other people, you're unwrapping candy. You're unwrapping taffy and Jolly Ranchers and Charleston Chews and all these different candies, and it's pretty labor intensive. And you have to actually be at your freeze dryer to change out those candies and replace them more. And then there's bagging, and if you're not large enough to own a automation machine, then you're really left kind of doing all these things by hand. So don't think that it's quick and easy. Now, it is easy relative to having to go out and learn how to be a plumber, but it's definitely not as easy as other people make it look to be. Now, here are the right reasons to get into a business: is a passion and love for what you're doing. I started my business in freeze drying in late 2020. And I went through a real high growth phase, and then I realized that it was causing my work-life balance to be impacted. It was also causing my family life balance to be impacted, and so I actually scaled back in the business. And now I only have 3 or 4 freeze dryers, which before I had 6 or 7. And I was running it with a friend of mine, and we were just nonstop. But it got in the way of the things that took priority in my life. And so scaling back into my business, I'm much more happy. I'm able to do this YouTube channel. I'm able to still fill customer requests, be in wholesale, all that, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this industry, and I'm loving the people that I'm connecting with in this industry that I'm going to bring more and more to this channel. and it's just fascinating. So I'm, just my thing is, for the right reasons, be in it for the passion of it and really love what you're doing. Otherwise, if you just go in it for the money, you're not going to last very long. Now, the other thing is, you got to be confident that failure isn't going to cause you to quit. Don't quit on this business. You have to kind of do this freeze drying business at least for a 2-year period. The reason I say that is because in year 1, you're just kind of figuring out things. Year 2, you're actually knowing kind of what the seasonality of the business in the freeze drying space is all like. For example, Q4 with all the holidays, big time sales for freeze dried businesses. But in the winter months, right now, as of March, this is a slow period. It's been that way from January all through March, but we're getting into the busy season where there's going to be a lot of events outside and inside. So if you're looking to do events, this is where you make a lot of money. So just be in it, don't quit. And the last part of the right reasons is you need to like a challenge and have an end goal in mind. So I've talked about this before, but you need to have a specific strategy and a goal in mind. And I listed out 3 different types of businesses that you can have. One, you're either a side hustle, which is kind of where I'm at. I've got a full-time job, I'm doing this on the side, and I really love what I'm doing. And then there's also a kind of a side hustle, but eventually is going to go into a more sole proprietorship, meaning you're trying to replace that full-time job that even I have with the freeze-dried business. And so it can kind of work in tandem. You're trying to fluctuate between like, okay, what am I giving up on my full-time job that's more comfortable, and then what can I segue into for the freeze-dried business? And then the last one is an actual full-fledged business where you have employees, you have processes, you really are fine-tuning something that could easily be transferred over to somebody else. All right, reason number 2 most businesses fail is what you can find in my video on the essential steps to having a successful freeze-dried business. I'm going to show that little icon up here that shows you that video that you can click to, or you can view it in the video description. What I talk about in that is market research. So you need to know your competitors, you need to know what types of products they are selling or products that you're going to sell, and really understand what the market is kind of giving in your local area, but also regionally. So if everyone is selling freeze-dried candy that's very similar, then maybe you need to branch off and do something different. If nobody's selling freeze-dried fruit, then add that to your lineup. If you want to do more sugar-free or more gluten-free type products, then go after that. Find something niche before you jump into this. Without any market research, you're flying by the seat of your pants versus having a guide to know, I know what I'm going to start with. Now, I have a video that I launched when I first started this channel called the Top 20 Selling Freeze-Dried Items that I would start as a freeze-dried business. You can check out that video too. And that just goes through, here's my top sellers from the past 3 years of running my business. Here is the top ice cream. Here's the top fruits. So you can gather some information from there, but definitely do your market research, and that'll save you from failing in your business because it'll guide you on what to do. All right, so the third reason why most businesses fail is poor management. So you need to recognize what you do well and what you should learn or hire out to do. This is a flaw for me in my business, is sometimes I just feel like I need to be able to do everything, and I don't do a good job to just delegate those tasks. Now, what I found, especially actually in this YouTube channel, is that I'm just not a very good copywriter, meaning I'm not very good with words. And so I really get help with my video descriptions. If you haven't checked out the website, freezedrybusiness.com, I've really used different tools to help me build articles and different types of copy in written form. And segueing that back to the freeze-dried side of things is, if you are just not interested and you're not interested in doing more of the prep work, like cutting fruits, cutting candies, then find some way to hire that out. And if you're cottage food, or even if you're in commercial, find friends and family that love you, love what you do, and then find ways to kind of compensate them to help you get into a position to where you can have a really good, consistent amount of products, and now you have fine-tuning things. The same thing goes with things that are also very important, which is finding the right accountant, finding ways to get around legal types of issues with a lot of the things that come about with freeze drying, which if you're going to do freeze dried candy, you're dealing with different brands and infringement. So you want to have different types of resources that you may not be skilled at so that you can delegate those out, and that'll set you up for success. Now, the fourth reason why most businesses fail is finances. And I'm not a good person at being confident in bookkeeping and finances, payroll, things like that. So I pay a bookkeeper. Part of that is me working with them to reconcile my books, reconciling in QuickBooks or reconciling in Peachtree, all of these accounting software programs. Reconciling just means that you're taking a look at your bank statements or your credit card statements and matching up the totals from credits and debits to make sure that you're actually tracking all the different finances, because ultimately if you get an audit on your business, you're going to have to prove that yes, these are assets in my business, these were expenses, yes, this was my sales, and this is how I track all those things. And it does happen. So you have to keep track of those things, but also it allows you to actually know whether your business is making money too. Overspending is another thing that I noted here. It's really easy to go overboard with buying a lot of different types of candies, but if you're not going to freeze dry them, then it's just going to go to waste, and candy does get stale. The fifth reason why most people fail is location. Now, most of us are selling freeze-dried candy to wholesale distributors, or we're selling at events, right? So what do I mean by location? Well, I wrote here, are you in a state that is favorable to freeze-dried food, freeze-dried candy? I've heard that different states are just not that favorable. So is your location actually going to benefit you to start a freeze-drying business? And if you are going to have limits, then you might have to do a larger investment finance-wise to be in a commercial kitchen. And what that means is that you're going to have more investment and more finances and more capital to get into the freeze-drying space. Now, that could be an advantage for you, but failure to recognize that you might not be in a very advantageous state is one reason why you might fail in your business, because you don't want to go buy a $3,500 or $5,000 freeze dryer machine if your state doesn't allow you to do certain things that can make you immediately some money. Now, before I get to the sixth and final reason, hit the like button right now if you're liking the content on this unedited video on my channel. I'd appreciate just knowing if I'm coming to you with some good information. Also, make sure you hit up the video description if you want to see other types of videos that I've got here. And I would love for you to also comment to let me know if there's other things that maybe I needed to bring to light or you want me to expand on. I would appreciate it. The sixth and final reason is overexpansion. And I kind of mentioned this earlier in the video about my type of life cycle with my business so far. I started in 2020. We grew substantially in 2021. And had a lot of great momentum. We bought 6 to 7 freeze dryers. I had a business partner and a friend that was in it. We had them at our commercial kitchen. It was crazy, it was bonkers, it was a lot of fun, but it impacted our personal life, and it impacted also our work-life balance. And so we expanded way too fast, and I think that that's my recommendation for you to not fail is quickly buying up freeze dryers and thinking like, well, I got to hit the demand. All my customers are asking for this. I'm seeing so much success. And yes, you are, but can you stay the course with that with just the freeze dryers you have, or just maybe one more? Or maybe you should have bought the XL freeze dryer from Harvest Right, where you don't have to do as many cycles and you just need that one freeze dryer, or maybe 2 XLs to do the same type of output. Believe me, I've been in this spot. If you're watching this and you have kind of been in that overexpansion, you know sometimes the freeze dryer isn't running. Maybe you're just getting super overwhelmed. And I've been in that spot before, and it's kind of bit me in the butt, because I've just had too many freeze dryers and there's just too much production, and you feel overwhelmed and stressed that you have to keep those freeze dryers running, and at the end of the day it's just causing more stress than good. So don't overexpand if you don't have to. Try to calculate what you can do with your current existing freeze dryers. So if you want to see more videos, check out the next couple thumbnails that I've got on other freeze drying information. We'll see you again next time on the Freeze Dry Business channel. Thanks for watching.